Hi, I'm Dave Karger. Welcome back to TCM. Up next, our Memorial Day marathon continues with a powerful and tense political thriller set during the height of the Cold War. Released by Paramount in 1964, it's 7 Days in May. Frederick March plays the President of the United States, and as the story begins, he announces he's just signed a nuclear disarmament treaty with the Soviet Union. But the deal doesn't sit well with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, played by Burt Lancaster. He views it as treasonous and begins plotting a military coup to take down the president. Kirk Douglas co-stars as Lancaster's right-hand man, who's torn between his devotion to Lancaster and his duty to the president. The cast also includes Ava Gardner, Martin Balsam, and Edmund O'Brien, whose supporting performance as a U.S. Senator earned him an Oscar nomination. It was Kirk Douglas who spearheaded this production, co-producing it under the banner of his own company and bringing John Frankenheimer on board to direct. At the time, Frankenheimer had just finished making another tense political thriller with similar themes, The Manchurian Candidate. He had a lot of support on that production from President Kennedy, and once again, Kennedy showed interest in 7 Days in May. He even went so far as to allow Frankenheimer to film a riot sequence in front of the White House lawn. He also gave the director access to the White House for research. For the scene set inside the White House and Pentagon, the interiors were constructed on the Paramount lot, but Frankenheimer did manage to get a few brief shots of Kirk Douglas walking in and out of the actual Pentagon. As he recalled, they hid a camera in the back of the station wagon, and Douglas changed into a Marine colonel's uniform. As he walked into the Pentagon, 3 men saluted him. Then he turned around and walked back out again, and they got the shots they needed. From 1964, here is 7 Days in May. 7 Days in May was based on a best-selling novel, and Kirk Douglas brought the book to director John Frankenheimer when it was still in galley form. Frankenheimer loved the story, and they quickly bought the rights. In addition to co-starring, Douglas also served as a producer, and he insisted on casting Burt Lancaster to play General Scott. But John Frankenheimer had reservations about working with Lancaster. They had already worked together twice, most recently on the 1962 prison drama Birdman of Alcatraz. Frankenheimer had a difficult time making that film with Lancaster, and he wasn't eager to repeat the experience. But Kirk Douglas promised he'd keep Lancaster in line, and they gave him the part. As it turned out, they had a much more pleasant time on this production and became close friends. Frankenheimer had high praise for Lancaster's performance and later said, "I don't think I ever directed anyone who had the same kind of presence on the screen and off the screen as Burt." Up next, Dana Andrews and Richard Conte star in a moving World War II drama from 1945, directed by Louis Milestone.
Next on TCM, A Walk in the Sun, then The Wings of Eagles. And later, remember, TCM is drawing a blank tonight.